Hey everyone, it's Lamafil here, and I'm back again with the first proper episode of my iRacing diary. In the background, I've got some footage playing of me time trialling at the Charlotte Motor Speedway in preparation for my first race, which we'll get onto a bit later on. This all takes place on Saturday the 19th of March. Let me just check the calendar. Yeah, Saturday the 19th of March and Sunday the 20th. So that is the end of week 1 of season 2 of iRacing in 2016. So just by coincidence I managed to get in at the start of the season. So in this video I'm going to run you through the process of how I got ready for my first race, and then I'm going to show you it, and we'll see what the outcome of that was. So the first thing I did was some solo testing. I was pleasantly surprised to find out that iRacing has a racing line that you can turn on or off. So I started using that at first, just so I could get a rough idea of where the braking and turning points were. On Charlotte there isn't actually a lot of braking to be done, but the turning points are important because it's an oval. It's very important to turn in and roll your car down the banking at the right time, just so you can get the best drive off the corner at the other side. After doing a few laps in the tests and getting up to speed, I decided to do some time trialing. So that's where you need to do a set number of laps to post a time. In this case it was 10 clean laps, and I managed to do that. Did it a couple of times over to make sure I could do it, and then I did a long run to make sure I could go 20 laps without crashing, because that's the length of the races at Charlotte. Now I did 2 long runs, and in both of them I kind of had a mishap on the final corner of the 20th lap. But I didn't let that deter me. I just decided to myself that in the race I would maybe take that last corner a bit more cautiously at the end, just so I could definitely finish the race. So yeah, I booked myself into a race and did an open practice. In retrospect, maybe should have done a little bit more, just to make me a bit less nervous when it came to race time. And then I put in a qualifying time that put me at 9th on the grid, so I was quite pleased with that. So let's go over to the race now, and I'll run you through what happened. So here we are on the grid. I qualified 9th. I'm starting on the inside. Bit of a skid on the start there. Need to practice that, I think. Oval races like this, they start from a rolling start with a warm-up lap to begin with. Everyone's following the pace car at the moment, just staying in formation. It's very nervous at this point. I mean, you can see from my throttle indicator down at the bottom there that it's quite twitchy. That's because my feet were shaking. I was very, very nervous here. I think maybe a little bit more running and open practice would have helped that. That's something I'm going to bear in mind in future. Because one of the reasons why I decided to start on the oval is not only because I like short track oval racing, but also because I wanted some experience of running in traffic. And oval racing is all about running in traffic.
Get ready, going green.
Now the spotter tells me we're about to go green. I really like the automatic spotter actually in this game. Really helps make up for the lack of peripheral vision you have from using a one monitor setup. We're about to get going. I'm about to start my first race, and here we are, we're green. Just want you to get through this first corner nice and carefully, or really get through the whole race nice and carefully. My aim here wasn't to set any lap records, it was just to try and keep pace with everyone, try and get to the end. Interesting way to start the first lap, 3 wide, in the middle with the inside car running on the apron. We're going to see a lot more of that red car as this race continues. Well, we're going to see a lot more of him for a few laps anyway. So once I got my foot firmly on the throttle, I started to settle in a little bit. Just focus on running my own race, keeping it nice and steady. Didn't really turn in there very well. That car twitching up ahead reminded me that you've got to look into the distance a little bit when racing, see what's coming up on the track ahead of you and not just concentrate on what's directly in front of you. That's something that's going to come into play at some point. Everyone's running quite a high line around here. I don't know if that's the way you're supposed to do it or not, but I was just at this point trying to keep pace, not trying to do anything spectacular. 3 comes back on the outside again. Having seen what he was doing earlier, I was just being very cautious, didn't mind losing a bit of speed and letting him past, but he just didn't quite have a good enough run on me to take me at this point. So I was very nervous cornering here with a car on the outside of me, didn't really know how to take that low line at speed. Again, maybe I'll practice that in testing. But the 3's past me now. Here we have the first bump of the race. Welcome to rookie street stocks. Luckily managed to avoid it. I don't know if everyone at the front there needed to slow down quite so much, but I don't mind, I came out of it unscathed. You see just before we got the 3 and the 5 just touching their wheels onto the grass. I'm not sure that's such a great idea. I think we're going to see the end result of that in a lap or two as well. Bit of bumping going on as well. I think the 3 is right up in the 5's gearbox. And there we see the 3 on the grass, into the 5, and now they're both off. I got a bit of contact here with the 12. He bumped into the barrier, lost a lot of speed, drifted back out. Maybe I could have avoided that one as well, but the only harm done to both of us was just a bit of speed lost. Here's the first major incident of the race. My A-pillar blocks my own view of it, but the spotter saying there's a slow car down low is a bit of an understatement because there's a few cars upside down there. I think we'll take a look at that in the replay. Got this crowd of cars running down the back straight, 2 or 3 wide. The 17 drifts up into the 1, gets into the 7 as well, and everyone has a bad time. Except for me, of course. I make up about 3 places. Now from here onwards I'm running pretty much on my own for most of the race now. I've got a gap behind that's going to grow out a bit more than what it currently is. It's at 0.9 seconds now. That's going to grow out. The gap in front is going to hover between 3 and 4 seconds. So I'm not going to see a lot of other cars. Oh, I had to go on the grass there. Spotter told me to stay low, but unfortunately the car rolled down to the inside. But that put me up into 5th, so no complaints. So I started up in 9th, rolled back down to 13th, and now I'm running up in 5th place. And from this point it just kind of becomes a time trial. The big thing here for me was just to keep my nerves in check and just run a safe and steady race and keep the gap behind from getting too small. So we skip forward to lap 17 because I was almost completely on my own for most of this race. We're heading towards the end now. The gap in front and behind is holding steady. I've kept all 4 wheels on the ground. I've not touched the wall, not touched the grass. I'd start to settle in. Now I'm getting a bit more nervous because I want to make sure I can get to the end of the race Wouldn't want to have an accident like I did in testing and lose it right at the end. So lap 18. I can see a car in front of me, but there's no way I'm going to catch him. Can't even see the car behind in my mirrors, so he's obviously off round the corner somewhere. I think this shows that really one of the keys to surviving rookie street stocks is just to keep the shiny side up and not do anything stupid. White flag's out, and oh, there has been a spin in front of me. The number 14 car that was ahead has had a bit of a spin, almost exactly the same as what I did in testing, and in almost exactly the same point of the race too. So that's put me up into 4th place, with 1 lap to go. So really, I don't think I could have asked for a better result from this race. I went into it just expecting to run off the back, bring it home in one piece, but in the end I got a top 5 finish. And you see, notice I'm taking this last corner very slowly and carefully because I want to make sure this car comes home with the front side facing forwards. And that's it. I've hit the checkered flag. I've survived my first race. I finished in the top 5. I didn't crash. Yeah, that was about as good as I could have hoped. So that's about it for this video. I'll be back again soon. The track rotation changes to the USA International Speedway next. That's a slightly more difficult track to race on. I'll hopefully get a race in later in the week. Might get back to you beforehand with a bit of testing footage, maybe some fun stuff. Yeah, so thank you for watching, and I hope you enjoyed it.